Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are. And welcome to NerdTube. And we're talking about Orville, Season 3, Episode 8, Midnight Blue. Sounds almost, erotic, so to speak, but it's nothing like that at all. This is, once again, another outstanding episode of the Orville. And I just want to ask my colleagues here what they thought of it. First of all, Cousin Cheeto, how you doing, mate? What do you think of this episode?
Doing good. Excited to talk about this nearly hour and a half long episode.
Yeah.
That is almost double the runtime of a normal Star Trek episode.
Feature length, mate. Feature length. What do you think of it? Cheeto, you there?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
What
I think of it?
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Really good, actually. But we're definitely getting into serialized territory because they are really carrying over a lot of themes from episode to episode, which is fine. I'm not even saying that they're doing it bad. Like, I think they're getting to DS9 levels of serialization where it's like, yes, every episode is kind of its own thing, but still there's so much serialization carrying over that they're really diving into DS9 territory, in my opinion, as a DS9 enthusiast.
Okay, fair enough. Commodore Boone, what did you think of this episode?
It was pretty interesting. I mean, you got bugs that turn different types of colors and everything. It was pretty interesting, and all the other stuff that kind of went down in the episode as well. I mean, you got a lot of stuff just going on in this sucker. There's a lot. Other than that, it was pretty good.
Okay, and Major Rage.
I enjoyed this episode. I'm thinking it might be a little weak compared to some of the other ones this season, but it's still phenomenal television. Great allegorical stories throughout the Orville, but especially in this third season, they're just really hammering it home with the morality tales.
And May just had a massive dump of Orville into his life recently because you just binged a lot of it to get caught up, right?
Mm-hmm. I'd only seen the first couple of episodes, and then in the past 3 weeks, I've gotten completely caught up. Got my wife into it, and we're just loving it.
There you go.
I would say I don't mind episodes like this, and we do get episodes like this even within TNG and TOS, where that sort of semi-serialization aspect of this show, where certain things have happened in the past and they're catching up with later episodes in later seasons. Just to bring back home some of the work that was put in earlier on, the fruition of that, and I very much appreciate that. Not everything has to be so episodic. It's good that we come back around to what's happened before in an update of what's happened before, and I very much like that episode for that. I thought this was once again a superb episode, and it did run parallels to certain things we've seen before, like the kidnapping of Princess Leia in Obi-Wan. But this time around, the old torture scene did happen to the Mucklin girl, maybe because Princess Leia is a human girl, that's why it didn't happen to her. But nevertheless, they went there in this episode. They really did. And I always appreciate episodes that go there. I just want to say hello to my favorite Danish person. This is Bandito Mussolini, as I like to call him. He's from Denmark, and he's been one of my avid viewers for a very long time. Okay, let's go for the breakdown. I saw, by the way, on your poll regarding the breakdown. I'm going to try and do it a lot quicker this time around. It is a bit difficult. It's easier said than done when I'm doing the breakdown, but I'll do my best to try and speed through it, if anything. All right. So, Orville Season 3, Episode 8, Midnight Blue. And anytime you guys want to intervene and ask anything, please do so. So, Bortus meets Kelly for a drink. Bortus is stressed because his daughter, Topa, has a crush on a guy. Bortus asks for some female help from Kelly to talk to Topa. Kelly meets Topa and invites her to the simulator. She then drops a hint that if you need advice on guys or anything else in life, I'm always there to help you. Topa then basically tells Kelly there's a guy she likes And Kelly says, yeah, go for it. Ask him out. See how it goes. All right. So Lamar, Malloy, and the rest of the lads are having some locker room talk in engineering. And then Topa comes along and basically proposes a date to Malloy. It takes a while for Malloy to figure out exactly what the fuck's going on. And which was quite amusing. But everyone else instantly picked up on it. And I love the look on the faces of everyone. Even that blob, you can see like, what, huh?
He's like, huh?
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But it takes a while for Malloy to pick up, and then good old Gordon realizes that he'd been asked on a date. I can hear some feedback, by the way. Um, and he gets asked for a date, and then he kindly rejects Topa by not taking her up on a date. And I'm kind of happy that all of that malarkey just ended there and then. It didn't continue into Topa like fucking being brokenhearted, and the whole episode was based around that bullshit. That would really piss me off. Rejection is a part of life, and we deal with it. And I'm very happy that she dealt with it very well. So Admiral Halsey talks to the Orville commanding officers about a liaison with the Macklin Female Sanctuary. Topa wants to come to this particular sanctuary because Bortus is going, and so is Kelly, two people he likes the most. And Bortus is a little bit reluctant to bring Topa along, but with a little persuasion from Kelly, she comes along. So Kelly and Bortus and Copa land on Mackless with a little hostility from some male Macklins who initially come across them. But after the pissing contest between these guys are over, our trio heads into the sanctuary. They meet Avina. I hope I got her name correctly, the old Macklin lady, at her place, and then she starts listening to Dolly Parton. See, that's a good callback because Dolly Parton, was a bit of an influence to the Macklins, and we then have a feast that's scheduled for later, and Kelly and Bortus want to do a once around the sanctuary so they can ask some questions and take some notes and so on. So Avina then looks after Topa as they share mutual admiration. The feast begins, and then we hear one of my favorite songs, Jolene, 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 Jolene. I hope I haven't lost any viewers from singing that. It's playing, and Macklin females are dancing, and then the illuminates start flying around in various colors. They're basically Mackless fireflies. Topa is amazed by them, and Avina explains that they are a good luck charm of sort. They come in various colors, but blue is the rarest. Avina then passes on the necklace to Topa and then proposes to Topa to help the female Macklin cause. Avina has infiltrated the Macklins underground where many female Macklins are being kept after birth. Avina, and probably killed even. Avina wants Topa to use the Orville communications to help relay cryptic messages. After Topa finishes talking to Avina, she sees a rare blue illuminate and follows it off the compound. She hears a noise and ends up getting kidnapped by some male Macklins who we saw earlier, who were having a pissing contest. Now, this also once again reminded me of Obi-Wan with Princess Leia getting kidnapped, but this time they did a better job of it with the way Topa got kidnapped. Anyway, Bortus soon notices that Topa has been missing and the search goes on. Bortus and Kelly decide to go back to the Orville, but their shuttle has been sabotaged. They still manage to fly and then decide to search for Topa instead. Juicy. Get out of my face. All right. Topa is being mocked by kidnappers, saying that she only started speaking after they cut off her dick. Orville, by the way, anytime you guys want to intervene, the Orville decides to investigate what's happening to Bortus and Kelly and head to Mackless. Mercer talks with Avina and finds out that Kelly and Bortus are chasing Topa, but Mercer feels that Avina is holding out some information. Avina then eventually tells Mercer about what she wanted Topa to do regarding cryptic messages, and Mercer is pissed that Avina would do such a thing to a child. Avina tries to explain to Mercer that they're being oppressed, but Ed calls what she did to Topa as tactical opportunism, and I very much thought that was pretty good way to call her out.
Yeah, Zam, this was going to be the first place that I wanted to at least mention. So, this was a good scene. Like, this scene between her and Mercer was really, really done well. And I really see where they're trying to go from the goofball Captain Mercer from season 1 to a more stoic, a more stoic Captain Mercer this season, where he's more on the lines of, a captain, not just a, fly by the seat of his pants type of, commanding officer. So, they're really trying to change the Mercer character. And honestly, and I agree with and what they're doing this season is kind of less is more, because we've seen a lot less of Mercer than we have in the past. Like, I like him, but it's like they've really scaled back on his screen time. If you notice, I mean, you've got whole episodes dedicated to. I mean, today was Kelly. Well, obviously, Topa, Kelly,
Bortus.
Why am I forgetting the dad's name?
Bortus.
Yeah, sorry. Bortus, and even this was a big episode if you think about it. But I'll let you continue on with the breakdown. But still, this scene right here really made this episode for me, just because Captain Mercer was a balling commanding officer at this point.
Well, I agree with you. I think prior to this season, he was he had like some of those sort of moral convictions you would expect from maybe I'm using a Star Trek reference here, like a Starfleet captain or something along those lines. But he also came across as a bit of a bumbling idiot, who kind of, fell upwards into being a lucky guy and stuff like that, forgetting people's names and all of that sort of thing. But he's quite astute here, and I like the way he was able to figure out that he had stuff being held back, and I'm liking Mercer. And apart from the Krill episode, which was basically Ed's episode, he has been a bit part. But what I've always liked the way the cast gets used in Orville, because even like bit part people have their moments. They're not just there. I mean, I think apart from Isaac, everyone had and Charlie to a degree, everyone and Lamar, everyone pretty much had a moment to play. Even Dr. Finn. So okay, anything more to add, fellas, before I continue?
I just want to harp on what Cheeto was saying, and it's good to see Captain Mercer kind of develop into his own. He's really grown and developed. And I think Seth is doing like more behind the scenes. I've seen his name on a couple of directing credits for this season. So he's kind of on the opposite side of the camera, and I think it's really working.
I agree. Like, Seth MacFarlane has always been known for his comedy, and I very much appreciate seeing comedic actors taking things a bit more seriously. And
let's not forget that Seth MacFarlane was in a Star Trek fan film back in the day. Like, this guy is literally a Star Trek fan film creator, like, come to, prosperity. You know what I mean? Like, not many people get to say that. They go from a Star Trek fan film, either personality or creator, and they actually get to make their own version of Star Trek, which I know everyone's like, it's not Star Trek. Man, it's Star Trek. Let's just be real.
It is, every element of this is Star Trek. If they had transporters, it would be a complete clone.
Yeah, it really would.
I mean, they got a fucking simulator, for fuck's sake. Anyway, Kelly and Bortus have followed an ion signal for Topa's kidnappers to an isolated part of space. Tyler escorts Avina to the simulator, and this is probably my favorite part of the episode, in my opinion. And Avina is taken to a countryside home. Dolly Parton simulation comes along, and she starts greeting Avina, who is a little bit starstruck. By the gods, she said. It got me laughing, but nevertheless, Avina tells Dolly about Topa's life being in danger, but if Avina confesses what she wanted Topa to do, then many more Macklin females' lives will be in danger. So she's in a bit of dilemma when she's talking to Dolly about this. Parton says to Topa that if you do the right thing for now, then in the future, the right thing will also be settled as well. Dolly pulls out her guitar, starts singing, and Topa decides to give a testimony to the Union Council. So the Orville with Avina heads to Earth for this testimony. Now, I just want to add that there are certain people I consider to be national treasures, and there's without no doubt in my mind, is Dolly Parton not a national treasure, because she is fucking amazing. And seeing her on screen like that with her lovely attitude and just her warmth, I was just smiling throughout. I really was. I love Dolly Parton. I fucking love her. And I'm so glad that she's still with us. Yeah.
I was so happy that they didn't put her credit at the beginning with the other guest stars, and they waited for the after credits, because that was just a great surprise. Like when it started a cabin, I'm like, no way, is it Dolly?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's Dolly.
Exactly. Come on, the Boone. You got anything to add regarding that?
Now, it was a very good surprise for seeing Dolly Parton for all these years that you really haven't seen her on any kind of film or anything. I mean, it was pretty good.
She is an actress, by the way. She has been in a few things.
Yes.
But it was really good. It was really good to see her in some capacity. So yeah. Anything else to add, fellas, regarding that?
I mean, it was a great scene, yeah. But we don't have much to add on top of that. By the way, that Facebook user is Jason.
It's Dixie Comic.
Oh yeah, Dixie.
Okie dokie, yeah, no problem. So thank you very much for joining us, Dixie. Yeah, so absolutely great, and her part was short and sweet, just like Dolly. Anyway, Topa is now escorted by a kidnapper. They arrive on a desolated planet. She's escorted to a chamber with one chair and a one-eyed Macklin, who comes across as hospitable and then becomes hostile. He tells Topa that he knows that she and Avina are conspiring against the Macklins, against Mackless, and knows the identity of a male spy apparently working with the females. This wasn't actually revealed, so this is something I think might come out in the future. 9 to 5 on a bunch of country music inspired movies and shows. Yeah, plus what she does, regarding the LGBT community and stuff like that. She's just fucking great, Like there's various things about her. I mean, I'm not into country music at all. Very much into Dolly Parton. She's fucking amazing. One of the best American treasures around.
My girlfriend would agree. She loves Dolly Parton as well.
Yeah. Anyway, Topper denies that she knows any of this information. This one-eyed Macklin is basically claiming that she does know, and so then Topper starts to get the shit beaten out of her. Kelly and Bortus are on the planet where Topper is kept, and they're closing in to finding her. They have to jump a small canyon, so to speak, but Kelly falls, and when she lands on the ground, she has some ligament damage, and Bortus begins to heal her. During the healing process, Kelly apologizes to Bortus for kind of roping in Topper into all of this, because if Topper never came, then they would not be in the situation in the first place. But Bortus then shows his appreciation to Kelly, how she's been like a sort of like surrogate auntie, so to speak, and she's been there for Topper, and Kelly shows her appreciation to Bortus, but Bortus also says that they show their appreciation to her, and they almost had a moment where I thought they might lock lips. For a second. I'm not sure if you guys picked up on that.
Oh, I picked up. Yeah, I picked up on that hardcore. It was, I mean, she's looking to lock up with them Macklin lips. How do you think Ed's gonna feel about that?
Uh-oh.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Ed thinks.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, I honestly hope they don't go down that route. I honestly hope they'll be like, he'll be like, yeah, I'm totally happy for you. Like, that's what this show seems to do, is take everything that we think is going to happen, and then they're just like, they pull the Star Trek rug out from under us and say, like,
yep,
he's going to be totally okay with it. He's going to be like, yeah, me and Kelly are not a thing. She can do whatever she wants. She is,
part of our family. But which is something I'm going to get to. I mean, regarding Kelly and Bortus, there's more I want to get to in a second. Anyway, on Earth, the Union members are listening to the confessions of Avina. President of Earth wants to do an investigation for Topa, but the Macklins are pissed that Avina has admitted to smuggling Macklin females off-world. Topa has had the shit beaten out of her now, and the torturer pulls out a krill cattle prod and further hurts Topa with it. Kelly and Bortus, and this is probably the cheater's favorite part because we get the pew-pews. Kelly and Bortus have infiltrated the base, and we get lots of pew-pews, and then eventually they find Topa, and this is where Bortus goes absolutely apeshit, as we say in my country, and he beats the living fuck out that torturer. He really does.
Dude, he blinded him, he
put his other eye out with the shock prod.
Yeah, and this is the thing though, because he killed that one that they killed. I think they killed that other Macklin guy who was in the cell with them. But they blinded the torturer, but the torturer had the information given to him after torturing Topa. So I do feel that he's not dead, he's blinded, but he does have the info. So I do feel that the story will continue.
That's actually one of the points I was going to bring up when I said we're etching ourselves into serialized territory, because I feel like you're right. I feel like we are going to get a revisit of, and honestly, I was expecting the person, like the informant or whatever, to be Topa's dad. I thought they were going to try to pull that.
Who Clyden?
Clyden, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Duh, there's two. But yeah, Clyden.
Yeah, it could be.
I thought, because just the way they were going, like beating around the name and everything like that, I thought it had to be somebody not shocking, but somebody that we knew already. Otherwise, they would just say who it is. So I really thought Clyden was actually going to be, and the reason why he went back to Moklis was to continue helping females get out, and he was kind of like undercover. But
we have a question for Commodore Boone. What is that insignia on your shirt?
This is a flower which represents a star base. Everybody that is a higher rank, like admirals and that, this is for a star base. I'm still a Commodore, so I can still go from star base. I can go to the starships. I'm like right in the middle. But anytime you see the flower pattern, that's a star base.
If I ever became a Commodore, I'd call myself Commodore 64. Anyways, all right.
I like 69 better. 64.
Anyways, where were we? So
Commodore 69, please.
Yeah, that's what Boone just said.
Did he say that? I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Okay. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
You missed that 69? Are you really?
Yeah, I missed it. Sorry.
That's
now,
great.
What I liked about all of this, after Portis beat the fuck out of this guy and everything, obviously I'm very happy that he did, but Kelly was telling him, okay, Commander, stop it, get your shit together, stop beating him up. But after he did beat the fuck out of this guy and blinded him, Kelly never once went back to that moment and reprimanded him or told him off or anything like that. It was over. He did it. He beat the shit out of him. Kelly probably agrees with that, but she still had to put on the facade that I'm your commanding officer, calm down and all of that sort of stuff. But I think deep down she thought that this guy fucking deserved it. So
I think we all deep down thought that he fucking
of course he did. Of course he did. And it was very satisfying seeing a father getting revenge for his daughter for what happened, And at the same time, I very much appreciate the show for going there. We have a child who's just had the shit beaten out of her, who's been tortured, she's bleeding and stuff like that. It's quite a distressing thing. I think the only reason why we get away with this is because she's a fucking alien. Anything to add, people?
It was difficult to watch that scene, but it's shocking, but not in an over the top kind of way, but more of it makes it hit home.
It's shocking, but not like in the boys sort of way.
I was trying to say that without saying it, but yeah.
regarding like violence towards children, ever since I saw that kid getting eaten in Jaws, when all these people are on the beach and then the shark attacks and one child gets killed, and then everyone comes back onto the beach and there's only one person who's waiting for their child to come back on the beach, but her child's never going to come back because your child has just been turned into fucking shark chow. And when you see that happen and you've seen a kid being killed like that, then even kids being killed in fictional ways doesn't bother me anymore. Yes, it's terrible and all of that sort of shit, but I appreciate that they went there more than being disturbed by it. I appreciate that they're willing to show shit like that more than being disturbed by it. So well done once again. And this is on Disney Plus, which is hard to fucking believe, or Hulu for you motherfuckers out there in the States, which is still Disney. Anyways, as after blinding that dude, they escape into their shuttles and they go through Becker's Canyon.
God, you stole the reference right out of my mouth.
There you go. And and then the Mucklins' pursuit vehicles chase them as well. But Bortus knows the vulnerability of those ships and shoots their exhaust ports, and then they're able to properly escape from the planet. Now, back on Earth, the Mucklins are demanding justice for Avena breaking the law and puts on a show in front of the Union. But eventually, Kelly and Bortus and the now beating up Topa comes along, showing what the Mucklins are really up to, exposing the Mucklin leaders for being kidnappers, torturers, and murderers. With evidence being overwhelming of the treachery committed by the Mucklins, the Union decides to kick them out of their government and look after the female Mucklin colony, basically treating them as asylum seekers, so to speak. So that's kind of what happened there. Dr. Finn heals up Topa's wound, but the mental wounds will be a lot harder for her to heal. But then Clyden shows up, wanting to see his daughter. Now, I don't know if this is just for the sake of convenience or if this was a good scene, because it almost felt like for the sake of convenience, in my opinion. He was very regretful. Like, he 180'd be more than I've ever seen somebody 180, you know what I mean? But yeah, he was very regretful for what he said to Topa, and he accepts Topa for who she is now. Bortus, Clyden, and Topa are a family again, and Kelly pops into their place with an update, and Bortus then basically tells Kelly that they've renounced their Mucklin citizenship and they now basically live on the Orville. Kelly's about to leave, but Clyden insists that she joins them for a big fat bowl of spicy slop. And then that's how the episode ends. And that's your episode. You seem to be rolling your eyes, Major Rage. Why is that?
I hate Clyden. The best thing that I had seen on this show yet was Clyden leaving. I cheered. I don't think that this bigot deserves a redemption arc, especially not one that's a 5-minute at the end of the episode wrap up. It's the sad truth is bigots usually don't change. They're not going to open their eyes and change their way of thinking. And
I just want to say that I was one of those bigots. You know, I was a homophobic guy. You know, I used to. I've redeemed myself, but I was one of those people myself, if you know what I mean. And
right.
I'm ashamed. I'm very much ashamed of what I used to be, which is why I can be a bit SJW-ish in my persona, because I feel like I need to repent for what I once was. If you know what I mean.
And that journey surely took time, you know, and I'm not sure how much time they're trying to portray has elapsed since Clyden, forsook his family and left, but it just, I don't know, it seems rushed and undeserved.
Agree. I do agree. Like, I thought it was very convenient that he just comes back and all of that. I don't hate the character like you do. I mean, when initially when he had an issue with Topa's transitioning, he was the antagonist of that particular episode, because the episode kind of needed somebody to, in the sense of the hostility and the tension of what these episodes bring, needed somebody like that. But I'm not happy with his redemption either. I do think it's kind of convenient for the sake of it. I think him coming back at the end of this episode was just, like some people say episodes are a bit too long. You could have shaved the whole Clyden bit out and it would have been fine. It would be totally fine in my opinion. But he's back, and he's back with a vengeance. Anything else to add, fellas, regarding this episode and some of the bits I've spoken about?
I 100% agree with Mage, that I don't mind a redemption for Clyden, in a way, in a shape or form, but I agree. Like, he literally left 2 episodes ago, and now
3.
Last thing he said was he told his child that he wished she had never been born.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's some harsh shit.
for her to be excited to see him, I almost wish she would have rejected him, just because, she just, like, I know she's trying to kill him with love, but it's just like, this was a real sticking point at the end of the episode for me. And actually, I'll probably dock a point or 2 for that, because I get it. You want warm, fuzzy family feelings at the end, but at the same time, you could have gotten that with Kelly, Bortus, and Topa, and
See, the Clyden showing up could be its whole own episode, and they could deal with Topa having mixed feelings about Clyden showing back up, explore the trauma of these events, and have a really good whole episode. I mean, if not
I would
just
have
a
that.
B
Yeah.
plot, but
And I would have that in another season as well. I wouldn't have it this season.
Yeah, there's
I'd have
got to
it
be some
season.
time there. There's
we've
gotta
got
be
a
some
lot
time.
of Topa
Yeah.
this season, and I mean it's good stuff, but there's other moving parts going on.
My opinion is that I think they brought in Clyden to kind of nip in the bud any sort of maybe romantic get together between Bortus and Kelly. Just like I said, they seem to have that moment,
Right.
and they kind of nipped it in the bud with Clyden coming back.
If they're not going to do anything with that, though, why did they put that scene in to begin with? Do you think maybe they're going to try to do some sort of weird love triangle?
I think that's exactly where I think they're going with this, and I'm not on. I mean, I'm not on board for it. I would have been okay with like Bortus and Kelly exploring a relationship, but for Clyden to already be back and them to explore this love triangle, I'm not on board with that at all.
I think also like sometimes you could have. If Kelly was replaced with maybe Mercer or Malloy or Lamar, it would have come across as like a couple of bros just getting really close and bonding at that particular moment. But because it's Kelly and Bortus, two people, two different genders, it almost comes across as romantic.
No, there was definitely a scene in there where they were trying to convey a romantic interest. Like if that scene wasn't there, I would agree with you. But there was definitely they were trying to convey romantic innuendos.
Are you talking about when they had dinner and people
no,
were
when
saying,
they were
are you guys mating?
No, when they were in the woods and he put the thing on to repair her tendon, and they were just kind of staring at each other for a couple minutes. Well, it felt like a couple minutes.
It was more like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's what they were going for there. They were definitely trying to create some tension there, that like not bad tension, like good tension, but they were. And as I said, I have no problem with it, but I'm just like the way they're executing this whole thing just seems like it's going to be messy. And you know what? In real life, families are messy. You know what I mean? Like so I'm not going to say it's unrealistic, because no, but in real life, relationships, families, and everything are messy. Nothing is ever picture perfect.
I think sometimes there might be something there, but it doesn't. It'll never. And I say never. It will never get followed through. Sometimes, which is such as life. And I'm hoping that is the case with these two. At the same time, if because the show is reasonably progressive, maybe they could be doing some. Now I'm not sure of how the word is. It's some sort of
polyamory.
Yes, the sort of relationship. Now she's part of that family, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I've always looked at her as more of an aunt figure than a mum figure, if you know what I mean. So.
But this this does feel very Spock Nurse Chapel-y, except in a different context.
Really?
Yeah, a little, I mean, this is just starting. Like this episode is really just starting a potential relationship, if any, between Bortus and Kelly. So I mean, I'm not, obviously Spock and Chapel have had a whole season really because they started their thing 1 or 2 episodes in, where it was like she was just pining for him, and he was,
I think that was right out the gate, episode 1.
Well, it probably was. But that's
there
what
was
I'm saying.
Flirting there right off the rip.
Yeah. When she changed their with the ears, and they went on that planet, with the planet America, and she flirted with him a little bit, and and with the ears and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember that, but that was just her being her, because she's a bit of a flirt. But she wants some of that, that pointy ears for sure.
She's gonna get up to Ponfar Agra.
Yeah, for sure, man.
She's got a Horgon. She's got her own Horgon.
I don't want to speculate where her Horgon is.
So
I don't want to speculate what it smells like.
Oh.
I'm curious now. Commodore Boone. What have you got to
Curiouser and curiouser, huh?
Curiouser.
Well, maybe the reason Clyden came back was for support for his daughter? Because they both said that they miss each other a lot. Could that be a
Yeah,
good reason as well?
yeah, but he said to, "I wish you," and obviously you sometimes say stuff out of spite.
Oh yeah.
I do know that you just want to get a reaction, but
Yep.
I just feel like to come around, it takes like for me to come around was just just being enlightened, speaking to certain people. When I was homophobic, working with gay people and stuff like that. Those are the sort of things that make you come around, and you realize what a fucking idiot I've been my entire life. Up to that particular point. Um, so I just feel that did Clyden have any of those sort of moments? It would be nice if he did, but it's hard to ram pack all of that in. Plus, I do feel he's come back a bit too quickly for him to be redeemed, so to speak. But then again, if he did care for his daughter and found out his daughter was, tortured and beaten, then maybe that's what a parent would do. I mean, he
Right.
is her biological father, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah,
And he
so
also at one point was a female when he was born. Like, so I
yes,
mean,
yeah.
he's. I mean, don't get me wrong. Clyden's got a lot of issues as well. Like like Clyden and Topa have got, and Bortus as well. They've got a long road ahead of them. I feel like we really, but I agree with you that they really rushed Clyden's return. As I said, there needed to be some space there. There needed to be some time, and I mean, it just seems like they're trying to like put like they have this gushing wound and they're putting just like a Band-Aid on it. They're just like, okay, well, fixed, and it's like he's back already, and it's like, okay, this is I don't know. I don't know.
No, we all feel. I'm pretty sure we all feel very similar. I mean, but then again, like, I mean, this show is close to perfection, but it can't get everything right. But
Yeah, and we're really just
yeah,
nitpicking at this point.
yeah, I mean, the show is very different to what we usually get. But once again, as I said before, it's good to come back to certain stuff that has been created in the past so they can progress in the future. I mean, sometimes what we know about characters is because of that semi-serialization stuff we have about them from different series, whether they are episodic ones like TOS and TNG, or stuff that started to get more serialized anyway, like DS9. So yeah, this shit creates the lore, creates the ideas, and the Mucklins, they're kind of like a mix of Klingons and Romulans, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a bit of a mix.
Well,
And
but here, and one thing I
yeah.
did. Go ahead, Zam. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I also wanted to bring up very quickly, when we spoke about deadpan characters, and you mentioned how Bortus and Isaac are deadpan characters, but they're kind of kept apart. Well, who was also deadpan as well, and Bortus definitely represents this person, is Worf. And Data. They were both deadpan characters, and they did have interactions with each other as well, some good ones. Obviously, Fistful of Data's being one of the most notable.
I think everybody had an interaction with Data in that episode.
Yeah, but my point was just regarding someone like Bortus and Worf, even though they are very deadpan, they're not emotionless. They're not even like Vulcans, where they try to restrain their emotions. They can be emotional if they want to be, but you usually see that when things get a bit more tragic, they're not the smiling types and all of that. Well, definitely not Bortus. Worf can be at times. So. But Worf does express himself when he's enjoying himself. That's for sure. You know what I mean? But Bortus, he's just very by the numbers, so to speak. But yeah. Anyway, what have you got to say, Cheeto?
Oh no, I forget.
No, I do.
No, you're fine. I didn't realize I was interrupting you. No, but I think I don't remember at this point, so it's okay. Must not have been that important.
Fair enough. So I want to mark this episode, and I want to go into something else afterwards. So first of all, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. I feel awful episodes are getting longer, and this episode was very different to the usual fare. We got returning characters and returning storylines and stuff like that. I got a returning Fat Bird here as well. But yeah, overall 8 out of 10. I appreciate this episode far more the second time of watching, and we had Dolly Parton. And if you get Dolly Parton, you're always going to get good marks from me. Because I fucking love that woman. She's one of the greatest things to come out of your country, fellas. She really is. I fucking love that woman.
Except for
Amazing.
Commodore Boone. Of course, Commodore Boone being the number one.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I mean, that yellow outfit. How can we not appreciate him for that alone? Yes. Commodore Boone, what would you like to give this episode?
Well, I mean, with all the stuff that's going on in there and old Dolly came out, I would give it a solid 10 because I really enjoyed her being in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with
generous reviewer, by the way. I'll say that.
Especially with the 9 to 5 going on, I mean, when I heard that music, it brought back a lot of memories.
For sure, yeah. She's just so great in it. She's just always smiling as well. Just seeing her there just makes me so happy. She's like, like the cool grandma. Yeah, for sure. Major rage.
I'm gonna give this episode a 7. I loved seeing Dolly. I appreciate, lots of stuff happened this week, big things that have big ramifications for the Kalon conflict and just the future of the Planetary Union. But they killed it with the last 5 minutes with bringing Clyden back. And that if Dolly Parton's plus 1 point, Clyden coming back's like -2 points. And the way they did it just, there were, this episode easily could have been 2 hours. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's on the writing room floor and the cutting room floor that could have been in this episode. They just cut for time.
Fair enough, Cheetah.
I do remember what I was going to say before I give it my mark. Can we finally acknowledge the fact that we got to see like the Planetary Union Council? Like, we finally got to see, I'm guessing, the majority of the races that are in there. And there's probably like, what, a good dozen, maybe almost 24 races.
Yep.
I'm like, that's something I appreciate. Because I'm like, for the love of God, how many races are in the Union? We don't even know. Okay, so I'm sure that there are other maybe more minor races. But I was so happy to freaking finally see all the major races in the Planetary Union. So that really made, that was my point where I'm just marking out, and I'm like, I've always loved to see that for Starfleet and the Federation, but I don't think we've ever seen it really, like an actual like scene with a lot of the Federation Council members, except for the end of Enterprise, which was all a bunch of fuzzy people in the background, and I don't count that.
Can I interrupt you for one
holodeck.
sec? Sorry, Gio. I just wanted to quickly add that seeing all those like different aliens in pairs kind of reminded me of fucking Noah's Ark. I thought
there's always 2 of them. Yeah. You're right. I didn't think about that until now.
I was thinking like fucking aliens with Orville Noah's Ark going on here. They're all going to go on the ship and fucking reproduce on some fucking Genesis-like planet. Anyway, I do apologize. Continue.
That's okay. I really enjoyed that scene. It's one of those aspects of like a Star Trek-ish type show that I always, even in like Babylon 5, I loved seeing all the different races that were technically a part of, alliances and stuff like that, and all the different, even though there wasn't like a federation or a union in Babylon 5, you still had the diplomats from all the worlds, and you always got to see them in kind of like the councils and stuff like that. It was very enjoyable. That scene was very enjoyable. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 as well. I agree with Mage. I mean, Dolly Parton's, you're right, she's a national treasure, but not a big markout moment for me. My biggest markout moment was the Planetary Union Committee scene. A lot of good acting from a lot of good people in this episode, but I agree, man. Clyden coming back at the end was it was an absolute buzzkill. And not that I'm opposed to Clyden's redemption or even Clyden, redemption arc or whatever eventually, but it's just way too soon. It almost feels like it's like he's there to spy on them. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like it's very convenient that now he's back on the ship, and like the
maybe.
I mean,
that'd be a good twist.
I thought of that when we were watching it. Like, why is he even there? Like, I understand he loves Topa, and I'm not saying that maybe he doesn't, but
maybe he doesn't.
And maybe he doesn't. Maybe they're grooming him in the show. They're grooming him to be a villain. You know, like maybe he is that mad that he will go there and he will pretend to love, you know, Bortus and Topa and everything like that. It just feels really like, unless that's the angle they're going with it, it really feels like it's just not out of place in the grand story of this season. So we'll see.
I want to quickly add, something pissed me off about the credits at the beginning of this film, of this episode, because when you have certain actors in there like Ted Danson, it's not just guest starring Ted Danson, it's special guest star Ted Danson. So you had Victor Garber, aka Gray from fucking from the
Legends.
CW universe, from Legends and stuff like that. Special guest star Victor Garber. Bruce Boxleitner as well. Was it Crazy Like a Fox, or was it back in the day? I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, nevertheless, Tron himself, special guest star. But Kelly Hu only got guest star. She never got special guest star. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a tragedy or travesty even, because she's been in so much shit, from way back in the day in the Friday the 13th movie when she got killed in Friday the 13th Part 8. Up till now, she's done loads of stuff, and you're not giving her a special guest star announcement. You're just calling her a guest star when she's a reasonably famous actress who's been in loads of shit as well, including the CW as well. Yeah, I thought that was a bit bad, but that's just a minor nitpick. But nevertheless, overall good episode. 2 more episodes left, and what I want to ask you guys, is that this show will be coming to an end soon, and there's no talk of a renewal. Scary stuff, huh?
Very.
Which I think is crazy. I mean, I can't imagine them not renewing it, because from what I've seen, it's been getting such high praise all over the place.
High praise, but all about high ratings.
Well, with Hulu, who knows? I don't know if they release the numbers on viewership.
Yeah, because as I said before, this is with all the Star Trek stuff coming out from Paramount. This just so happens to be the best Star Trek. This also happens to be the best show coming from Disney. All the MCU stuff, all their Star Wars stuff, it doesn't hold a candle to this. No, it doesn't come close. I mean, when I say MCU stuff, I mean their recent stuff. It's not that great, and their Star Wars stuff hasn't been that great. This is their best product right now. It's absolutely fantastic, thought-provoking episodes. The budget is there. I just love this show so fucking much, and I really want them to give us a season 4. And people are signing petitions to get a season 4, but I don't know if it'll happen or not. I mean,
if
waited so long for season,
if Young Justice can get it, then I think Orville should be getting it. I mean, Young Justice, they clamored for that to come back for a season 3 when they announced DC Universe Online or DC Universe app. So I mean, I'm not too worried.
That was 10 years. And it's animation. These actors can't afford to wait 10 years. They're going to age out their roles.
No, I know, what I mean? But I'm just saying, but also the big change between when Young Justice went off the air and now is streaming. So I feel like I'm not too worried about Orville. I think they're going to be fine. Maybe they're making us sweat a little bit to see if it garners more interest, like more media attention saying, oh, the Orville hasn't been renewed. What's going on? And all the internet clamor and everything like that. And, so we'll see.
Well, once again, Disney would probably love to own the original Star Trek if they could, but they've got this. They can do spin-offs from this. Nearly every Star Trek person I know loves this show. Only a couple of people I know who I've come across, or not know personally, but people I've come across through social media, do not like the Orville. But the Orville pretty much is a home run with every Star Trek fan out there.
Except for one person, apparently, who hasn't watched it since season 1.
Oh,
you know who you are.
Yeah, if he's watching it, it's very hard. I find that people who criticize stuff without watching it, I find it very hard for them to take things seriously and stuff like that. And then he goes, yeah, why watch the Orville? Just watch Galaxy Quest, for the 50th time, that one fucking movie. How can you keep watching the same fucking film all the time? But never, still, I'm loving this. I'm loving where this is going. This feels so much like TNG. It's unreal. It really does. This is the closest thing to TNG.
TNG
And
with jokes, and just the one joke this week, right? I'm pretty sure the situation with Gordon and Topa asking him out was the only thing that was played for laughs the entire episode.
yeah, anything pretty much Gordon's involved in, if he's not the main character, is going to be pretty much played for laughs, isn't it? Like when
I mean,
But his speech.
when he spoke out, called those Backlunds assholes.
Yeah, I mean, I say even Gordon's getting. I mean, yeah, he was played for laughs in the beginning, but it's just like I'm telling you, I think he. I don't know. I mean, they're really taking this show seriously, and it shows. And as I said, you can have kind of like a I don't want to, not an Opie character. What would you call Gordon? Like just kind of like an everyday guy, like type character.
Everyman.
Yeah, like every man.
He's a bit like a comical version of Tom Paris.
Yeah,
Pissed
Yeah.
off, man.
done a little bit better in my opinion. I'm sorry. Well, that's a topic for a different day. I was
Yeah.
never a huge fan of Tom Paris.
Damn.
But yeah, but I want to see more of that green blob, because like he was like immersing himself into Claire Finn a season ago or whatever, and now he's just become a side character.
Well,
with the
Norm.
That's
Norm
because
Macdonald
the
passed.
vocal actor died. Yeah, Norm Macdonald passed.
Yeah, I heard about that, but
I mean, now if
Yeah.
they brought in a different, I mean, obviously there's other, because you saw them in the audience in the union, the planetary union
yeah,
committee.
those were different
So-
blobs, I think.
Yeah, there are different blobs. So I mean, it's a big universe. Why do we? I mean, granted, I know Norm Macdonald. I don't want to tarnish his legacy or anything like that, but there are other green blobs out there, obviously, because it's not like a Data situation where there's only a handful of them.
I would like somebody else. I mean, I
Maybe-
would like that character to continue. Obviously, they'll have to have a different voice actor, but it could be pulled off. People do impersonations.
Or
Yeah, it
just
can be
have
pulled
them
off.
transferred and bring in a new one. You know what I
Bring in a
mean?
new character of his
No,
species, but like
I
get a
wouldn't want that.
different Weekend Update person to do the voice. That
Like,
could
you know
be kind of like a tribute to Norm, bringing on
Like,
another SNL alum.
In Toy Story, the character of Slinky, the dog with the spring and all that sort of shit.
Mhm.
The actor who voiced him for maybe the first 3 movies, he passed away,
Jim
and
Varney.
they got somebody else to voice him in the 4th, and nobody could tell the difference. It was spot on, and I do feel that they could do something very similar, or they could have a malfunction and all of a sudden his voice changes or whatever. But I wouldn't want you to change I want that character still. I don't want the character to change. I just want somebody to continue voicing him, regardless if the voice changes
Either that
here and there.
or find some. Well, no, because if you do that, then you're Princess Leia. I was say either that or try to make him go out some way that means something. But then you get the whole
Go
Rise of
out. I don't want
Skywalker.
him to die. I don't want him to die.
I really, but here's the thing, though. It's like I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like the Chadwick Boseman thing. Do you recast Black Panther or not? Like,
We're
some
talking a
people say
voice
yes,
here.
some
We're
people say
talking a
no.
voice, not an actual physical.
But I'm just making the point is that I don't know.
I countered it with my point regarding Slinky from Toy Story 4, who was also a side character, not one of the main characters, and they still managed to revoice him. I would want this character to continue in the memory of Norm Macdonald as well. I want this person to continue, and I don't want him to be replaced or anything like that. I want him. I mean, I want him to be trying to shag half the staff or whatever, submerging his green goo everywhere and all of that shit. I mean, yeah, keep it going. I love all that stuff. I love it. And it's amazing now that Star Trek are copying Orville by having that Norm character in fucking Prodigy. I mean, who's basically like their version of the Green Blob. So, horses for courses. Initially, they were copying Star Trek. Now Star Trek are copying Orville. I do feel even elements of Strange New Worlds is taken from Orville, in my opinion, the earlier episodes, because they like to do a little joke here or there. But yeah, anyway, I'm babbling on. I do apologize. So yeah, season 4, please come along. If there's petitions out there, sign it. Bang on Bob Iger's door, tell him we want a fucking season 4. You fucking whore. I want number 4. Okay, I mean, give us a Fantastic 4 or fucking Orville. So yeah, anything 4, 4, 4. I mean, all right. I think we're done here, fellas. Anything more to add?
That's about
Well,
it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to get back to my binging of Better Call Saul, but I just started watching that like a couple of days ago, and the final season of season 6, I think, is coming is this year, and they're doing the final episode. So, yeah, I'm gonna fucking binge all of that shit. 5 more seasons to go. 50 episodes. I can't go wrong. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you for the next review.
Have a good day. Take care.